Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Sri Balaji Prabhuji, Dandat Pranams.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandat Pranam.
Dandat Pranams, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna, dear devotees, welcome all of you for the today's morning program, Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. And today we are very fortunate to have His Grace Sri Balaji Prabhu, and he will enlighten us on Srimad Bhagavatam, 5th canto, 5th chapter, on text 25. Over to Prabhuji, Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tado Jayam Dhiraye Nashtaprayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama-shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtaki Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nanda Gopa Kumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha. Reading from Canto 5, Chapter 5th, verse number 25. Prabhu, you can share the shloka. Canto 5, Chapter 5, text 25. Matyopanantat parata parasmat svargapavargadipate na kinchit yesham kim susyat itarena tesham akinchana mai bhakti bhajam Matyopanantat paratah parasmat svargapavargadipate kinchit yesham kim yusyat itarena tesham akinchana mai bhakti bhajam Matyopanantat paratah parasmat svargapavargadipate kinchit yesham kim yusyat itarena tesham akinchana mai bhakti bhajam. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Translation. I am fully opulent, almighty and superior to Lord Brahma and Indra, the king of the heavenly planets. I am also the bestower of all happiness obtained in the heavenly kingdom and by liberation. Nonetheless, the Brahmanas do not seek material comforts from me. They are very pure and do not want to possess anything. They simply engage in my devotional service. What is the need of their asking for material benefits from anyone else? Perfect. The perfect Brahminical qualification is stated herein. Apinchanana mai bhakti bhaja. The Brahmanas are always engaged in the devotional service of the Lord. Consequently, they have no material wants, nor do they possess material things. In Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela, chapter 11, shloka 8, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu explains the position of pure Vaishnavas who are anxious to return home back to Godhead. Nishkinchanasya bhagavat bhajanon mukhasya. Those who actually want to return back to Godhead are nishkinchana. That is, they have no desire for material comfort. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu advises, Sandarshanam Vishayina Atha Yoshitam Cha Hahanta Hanta Vishabha Bhakshanato Apya Asadhu. Material opulence and sense gratification through the association of women are more dangerous than poison. Brahmanas who are pure Vaishnavas always engage in the Lord's service and are devoid of any desire for material gain. The Brahmanas do not worship demigods like Lord Brahma, Indra, or Lord Shiva for any material comfort. They do not even ask the Supreme Lord for material profit. Therefore, it is concluded that the Brahmanas are the supreme living entities of this world. Sri Kapila Dev also confirms this in Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 29, Text 33. Tasman mai apira arpita shesha kriya arthat nirantaraha mai arpitatmanam pumso mai sanyasta karmanaha. न पश्यामि param bhutam akartu samadarshanath. The Brahmanas are always dedicated to the Lord's service with their bodies, words, and mind. There is no better person than a Brahmana who thus engages himself and dedicates himself to the Supreme Lord. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Tadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Padakamalam Shri Gurum Vaishnavamsha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Larita Shri Vishakhanvitamsha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavad Paschat Deshatarine Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namine Kaura Dushe Nama He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Shri Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Shri Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Haripriye वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानन्द श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृन्द हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे मुखं करोति पुङ्गुलङ्गायते यत्कृपातमं वन्दे श्रीगुरुदीनकारणं परमानन्दमाधवं श्रीचैतन्येश्वर Hare Krishna. Welcome all to the Bhagavatam session, morning Bhagavatam session, Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. First of all, let me express my deep gratitude towards His Grace Sankarshan Priya Prabhu and the devotees are hosting this wonderful morning Srimad Bhagavatam session so that I can glorify Srimad Bhagavatam, the Lord, His devotees, and also mainly to purify myself. So, continuing with just to understand the glories of Srimad Bhagavatam, in in Canto 2, Chapter 10, Text 1, it is mentioned there are 10 topics in which encompasses the whole Srimad Bhagavatam. So the shloka goes as follows. Shri Shuka Uvacha Atra Sargo Visargascha Sthanam Poshanam Uddayaha Manamantareshanam Mukta Nirodha Muktir Ashrayaha. So there are 10 topics which cover the entire Srimad Bhagavatam. And of the 10 topics, This fifth canto that we are currently discussing touches upon two topics from these 10 topics, that is Visarga. Visarga means the secondary creation which is done by Brahma, and Sthanam. Sthanam means this topic it talks about the various position of the various planetary system. So these are the two topics of Srimad Bhagavatam out of the 10 which cover this particular canto. And there is a very wonderful pastime in the Puranas which talk about a person named Dundukari. Now, Dundukari, because of his sinful activities, he was a very sinful person, and I mean, there is nothing that sinful that he has not he's left done. So, what happens was he'll get killed once, and killed by his own because he had brought some immoral ladies to his house because of a sinful attitude, and those ladies kill Dundukari. But what happens because of his sinful activities? He doesn't get liberation, and he becomes a ghostly body, and he without a material body, he just keeps traveling. So with that ghostly body, he had a brother, Gokarna. So Dundukari at that moment understands that, what all things he has done in the past, and how because of that past activities, sinful activities, he get this ghostly body. And now he comes to a stage or a realization that he wants to come out of this ghostly body. So he approaches Gokarna and requests that somehow please relieve me of this ghostly and ghastly state. So Gokarna, what he does, he reaches out all the sadhus, and then they say, why don't you have a Bhagavad Saptah and let him attend, and he can get the benefit of attending the Bhagavad Saptaha. So Dundukari was very happy on hearing this, and he attends the Bhagavad Saptaha. So all 7 days, very attentively, he attends. And on the seventh day, what happens was Vishnu Dutas come. Vishnu Dutas come on an aerial plane, Vimana, to take him back to Vaikuntha. So Vishnu Dutas come, and at that moment, Gokarna, who was also there are many other people who were part of the Bhagavad Saptaha. So Vishnu Duta. Gokarna asks Vishnudutas a very beautiful question that and a very important question as well, that so many people are there here, so many sinless person are there here who have been hearing to Srimad Bhagavatam, but why only Dundukari gets a very special treatment? Why only the aerial plane comes for Dundukari? So the Vishnudutas gave him a very beautiful response to this question. This is actually from Uttarakhand of Padma Purana and shloka number 71, where they say, Shravanasya vivedena phala bhedopi samstitaha shravanam tu kritam sarve na tatha mananam kritam phala bhedas tato jato bhajanat api manata. Now the translation is this way. They tell the difference, why the difference is, the difference in treatment is because of the difference in hearing of Srimad Bhagavatam. Though all the people present here had heard Bhagavatam, the intensity of hearing Bhagavatam was not the same for all. And that is the reason for the difference in the reward, although everyone has heard Srimad Bhagavatam. So Dundukari, after realizing that what a state that he had got, he was very attentive in hearing. His intensity of hearing was he intensely heard Srimad Bhagavatam, and that is the reason he got this particular reward, a difference in reward, basically. So many times what happens is we even after knowing all these glories of devotional service, we sometimes do it mechanically without faith and care. So such faithlessness and careless attitude will naturally delay our path of progress. As Krishna says, Ye yathama prapadyante. As all surrender unto me, I reward them accordingly. So Dundukari, who even though had a very sinful life and attained that ghost body, when he heard Srimad Bhagavatam with intensity, because that was the only hope for him to get rid of his ghostly form. He attended very attentively 7 days and 7 nights, continuous deep concentration, and due to that faith, an intense hearing of Srimad Bhagavatam, he was blessed with that opportunity to go back to the Lord's support. And as Parikshit Maharaj says in 2.8.4, Shrimvata Shraddhaya Nityam Grinatascha Swate Cheshtitam Khalena Nati Dirghena Bhagavan Vishate Dhi. Persons who hear Srimad Bhagavatam regularly and are always taking the matter very seriously will have the personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, manifested in their hearts within a short time. So, with this, we continue hearing about, we get into the shloka, today's shloka, where Rishabdev, Lord Rishabdev, is giving instructions to his sons, and especially to his eldest son, Bharat Maharaj, Bharat, who was supposed to be going to be his successor. So there is this section from 21 till 25, wherein 21 to 22, the first two shlokas, we heard about the different gradations, the gradations of living entities, how living entities are graded, superiority, and of the topmost superior were the Brahmanas. So in this whole section from 21 to 25, Lord Rishabdev has tried to establish the superiority of Brahmanas, or the superior position of Brahmanas, which the Lord Rishabdev himself was the Lord. Okay, we all know, we had heard about this in the earlier shlokas. So he's saying how the Brahmanas are also inclined to them, and he's also inclined to them. So 21 to 22 is about the various gradations of living entities, and 23rd shloka talks about how Lord derives more pleasure from food which is offered to the mouths of Brahmanas. And 24th shloka, which we heard, yesterday when we heard from His Grace Prasadesha Krishna Prabhu wonderfully, Prabhuji had spoken about the 8 qualities of a Brahmana, which is mentioned in 24th shloka. And the culmination of all this, there was the final quality of the Brahmanas, which Lord Rishabdev mentions here in this particular shloka as Akinchanana. Okay, so Srila Prabhupada, in his purport, in the first line itself, if you see the purport, the first line Srila Prabhupada mentions that the perfect Brahmanical qualification is stated herein. It says, Akinchanana Mai Bhakti Bhaja. So Prabhupada uses this particular verse, or this line from this particular verse and elaborates on it. So Akinchanana means that Brahmana does not need anything material, or he does not possess anything material, and my bhakti bhaja, he's always engaged in my devotional service. So these are the 2 qualities of a Brahmana. And to elaborate this further, we will see with 3 examples, maybe 4 examples, how material opulence, when one has material opulence, how that causes trouble, how that causes disturbance for a particular person. In the 6th canto, especially from 6th canto, chapter 7, there is a whole episode of Indra going through a very special realization. So Indra, we all know, Indra is the lord of all the demigods, and there is no dearth of opulence for Indra. He has the highest opulence. And what has happened? And he, on that particular special occasion or special day, Indra was with his all so-called opulences. The Apsaras, the Gandharvas were singing, Apsaras were dancing, and Indra was totally absorbed in that particular. I might not say sense gratification, but that pleasures. He was going to that, and at that moment, his spiritual master, his guru, Brihaspati enters. Now, Indra, again, this is all. Let's not take in a point that Indra did something wrong, but it is all Lord's pastime for us to help to understand how material opulences disturb us. So Indra somehow did not notice Brihaspati enter. So he did not. So he did not do 2 things. He did not get up to respect his guru, and he did not welcome respectfully his guru. So those 2 things he did not do. What happened was, Brihaspati, who was a realized soul himself, and who also had a power to curse Indra because of this offense that he had performed, he just leaves because he knew what is coming next. At that moment, Indra realizes what a aparadh he had committed. He had committed Guru Helana. And the next part, from 6.7.11 till 15, there are 5 shlokas in that particular section. The first 4 shlokas, Indra condemns himself for his act. And in the 5th shloka, he makes a firm resolve. So only condemning and repenting is not enough. We also have to make firm resolve to not repeat that mistake. So what Indra does, I just chant that shloka, very wonderful shlokas, and very wonderful for us to realize certain things that that Indra realizes in sharing with us. So Prabhu, you might want to share 6, 7, 11, shloka number 11 from Canto 6, chapter 7, shloka number 11. The shloka says, Ahobata maya sadhu kritam vai dabra buddhina yan mai aishwarya guru sadashika kritaha. Kat kritaha, this particular word means I disrespected my guru. And what was the cause? Cause? 2 reasons. There were 2 causes why I did kat kritaha. One is Aishwarya Mattena, material opulence, and second, Dabra Buddhinam. Dabra Buddhinam is less intelligence. So Indra, in the next sloka, gives the conclusion that why one should not have material opulence. So next sloka is 6, 7, 12. So Indra says, Ko gridhet pandito lakshmin tripishtapa paterapi yayaham asurum bhavam nityadya vibhudeshwaraha. So here Indra very wonderfully he says, because of this material opulence, I was a sura and an accepted asura bhava, that is a demoniac mentality. Because I was controlled by this asuram bhava, I disrespected my guru. And Indra says, by the consequence of having material opulence, one becomes asura from sura. And then he says further, in that particular shloka, he says, Ko gridet pandito lakshmi. He says, learn from my examples. Is there any one pandita who want to run after material opulence after saying what I realized? And then, because of all this, Indra concludes that when one gets asura bhava, because of all this material opulence, it will lead to sense gratification. And because of that sense gratification, one will commit aparadh or offenses. So now this was the first example. Kunti Maharani. Kunti Maharani also clearly says, and this is from Shloka, Canto 1, chapter 28, Shloka number 26. We have all heard this Shloka. Janma Ishwarya Shruti Shripir, Edamana Madhapuman, Naivartya Abhidhatum Pai, Tvam Akinchana Gocharam. So Kunti Maharani says, because of all this opulence, any of these opulence basically, Janma, Aishwarya, Shruta, Shripir, what happens is Edamana Madha Puman. So that I read the translation quickly. My Lord, Kunti Maharani says, my Lord, your Lordship can easily be approached by only, can easily be approached, but only by those who are materially exhausted. Tvam akinchana gocharam. But one who is on the path of material progress, trying to improve himself with what? With respectable parentage, that is Janma, great opulence, that is Aishwarya, high education, Shruta, and bodily beauty, Shribhir, cannot approach you with sincere feeling. So Kunti Maharani is essentially telling us that anyone with all this opulence becomes proud, Madhapuman, and cannot chant the holy name with great feeling. And she says, you are the property of only those who are Kinchana Gochara. So Indra said that because of the material opulence, we get into Asura Bhava and commit aparadh. Kunti Maharani is saying, because of the material opulence, one becomes Madhapuman, that is proud or builds pride. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur in one of his bhajan, this is from Vidyara Vilasa, Srila Bhaktivinoda says, further goes to say, Same thing, but he gives a very wonderful instruction in his bhajan. He says, Jada Vidya Jato Mayara Vaibhava Tomara Bhajane Badha. So what Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur is saying, with Jada Vidya, one gets lot of material opulence. And that eventually becomes Tomara Bhajane Bhada. That is, it becomes a hurdle in the practice of Krishna consciousness. No wonder that any great Brahmana would want to keep himself in poverty. We would have we would have heard, whenever somebody is narrating a story that there was once a very poor Brahmana. No, never we have heard there was once a very rich Brahmana, and the story starts. Right? So Indra, Kunti Maharani, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur all mention that wherever there is material occurrence, sense gratification, pride follows, and what happens? It becomes Tomara Bhajane Badha. Srila Prabhupada, in one of his discussion, also mentions about a very wonderful story, which is about a Raja and his discussion with a Brahmana of one of a very exalted Brahmana in his kingdom. The Raja was Krishna Chandra, and he approaches the Brahmana to because he saw that Brahmana was in a poverty state. So he says, I would like to give you more wealth, material wealth, opulence, and all this. Whatever the name I can give it. But you know what the Brahmana says? He said, my lord, my king, I am fully satisfied. And what he was satisfied in, he says, Srila Prabhupada says that what he used to eat was he used to boil rice. His wife used to boil rice. His children used to get some tamarind leaves. And with that tamarind leaves in the rice, they used to boil that and eat that. And that is how he says, I'm very happy. So with this story, Srila Prabhupada makes a very profound statement. This was in one of his classes. The question was, how can I understand that one is a Brahmana and that he has understood Brahman? So Srila Prabhupada says, the immediate answer is Brahma Bhutaha. The test is one who is completely knowledge of Brahman, and this I quote from Prabhupada's words. The test is one who is completely knowledge of Brahman. The symptom will be Prasannatma. He will be always cheerful. There is no question of anxiety for him. That is Brahma Bhuta Prasannatma na shochati na kakshati. There is no lamentation, there is no desire. That is Brahma Bhuta stage. That is, there is no desire. Now, coming back to this shloka, this purport, I will again refer to the same words, the same text, same line that Prabhupada focuses is Akinchanana Mahi Bhakti Bhaja. It says not simply Akinchanana, not simply not having material comforts, but Mahi Bhakti Bhaja, engaged in the devotional service of the Supreme Personality. We have all heard this shloka. Janmana jayate shudraha samskarat dvija uchyate. Veda patet bhavet vipraha brahma janati iti brahmana. So this shloka says, all are born as Shudra. One becomes a Dvija, that is a twice born Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, through acquiring skills and education. He rises as a scholar by studying Veda. But the one who knows Brahman, the Supreme Creator and His creation, is a Brahmana. So by birth, everyone is a Shudra. And when the Upanayana Samskara or the Samskara happens, the person can get elevated from this state of Shudra to become a Dvija, not a Brahmana. So anyone who has a 25 paisa or whatever paisa thread doesn't become a Brahmana by just wearing the thread. He becomes a Dvija. I know one person who was showing me that I have this thread. I am also a qualified person. But this is when I heard this shloka, I understood that with that thread, which is got by Upanayana Samskara, doesn't mean that person is the Brahmana. He becomes a Dvija. Now, such a Dvija, when he studies the Vedas, then he qualifies to become a Vipraha. Even at this stage, the person is not a Brahmana. But such a Vipraha, when who understands the essence of all the Vedas, understands the essence that what he has read, what he has studied, that the Supreme Absolute Truth, Krishna, is the Krishna, the Supreme Absolute Truth is Krishna, is a qualified Brahman. So, by birth, everyone is a Shudra, After the samskaras, they become Vipra, Dvija, and once they read Vedas, they become Vipraha, such a Vipraha who understands that the Supreme Absolute Truth is Krishna is a qualified Brahmana. So Brahmana does not means simply Akinchana, but he who understands the Supreme Absolute Truth by doing my Bhakti Bhaja. That is, serving the Lord, rendering devotional service to the Lord, is a true Brahmana. Prabhupada once mentioned, I think, in one of his classes that 100 rupees does not have 1 lakh. However, 1 lakh has 100 rupees, 1000 rupees, and everything included in that. So that is how, that actually nicely explains, this analogy explains how we have to understand Shudra, Dvija, Vipra, and Brahmana. Brahma Janati iti Brahmana. When I was preparing for this class, in that particular class, the devotee mentions about Prabhupada's disciple, Udayananda Prabhuji. It's a wonderful incident that has happened, wonderful realization. So, Udayananda Prabhu, after he got initiated, Srila Prabhupada also gave him Brahman initiation. So, he got his Gayatri, and since he did not know the Gayatri mantra by heart, so he used to he had written down, and whenever he used to do Gayatri, he used to take that piece of paper and read that. So once what he did was where they were in the temple, there was a river or a lake flowing by. So he decided today, let me go towards the near the river or the lake and do my Gayatri. And he goes and sits over there. And usually during that morning time, Prabhupada along with his disciples also used to come for a morning walk. Okay, so Udayanand Prabhu was sitting and opened his Brahman thread and started doing his Gayatri, looking at the piece of paper. And as soon as he started, he heard a Ford car coming and stopping nearby, and so he understood that Prabhupada is there. So in the Ford, there was a Ford car, and it was actually driven by Ford himself. Henry Ford's son himself was driving. So who would have? We all have cars. We all have cars from different brands. But who would have that? The person who owns the brand as the chauffeur, and that is what Srila Prabhupada was. So Ford's son himself was driving this Ford car, and Srila Prabhupada gets down of the car, and when Udayananda Prabhu sees Srila Prabhupada, he offers obeisances, but Srila Prabhupada did not see him. Okay, so Udayananda Prabhu offers obeisances and starts doing his Gayatri. And Prabhupada with his disciples starts his morning walk, comes near Udayananda Prabhu, sees him doing his Gayatri, pauses for some time, and then walks by and keeps on walking ahead. So Udayananda Prabhu finishes his Gayatri fast and runs off to join the walk. And Sudama Vipraswamy, who was along with the walk, who was within the team, he sees Udayananda Prabhu come by and he says, "Do you know you did not offer obeisances to Srila Prabhupada when Srila Prabhupada came near you?" And Udayananda Prabhu, no, I did see and I did offer obeisances. Then Sudama Vipraswamy says that but Srila Prabhupada did not see you. And should I tell you what Srila Prabhupada told about you? So Udayananda Prabhu says, yes, please tell me. So Srila Prabhupada said, see, here is one of the devotee, my disciple, who is doing his Gayatri, but when his spiritual master comes near him, he does not offer obeisances. So Srila Prabhupada says, what is the value of chanting the Gayatri if his spiritual master Guru comes near and we do not offer obeisances? That day onwards, Udayananda Prabhu took that as a personal instruction every day, every single day. Whenever he does his Gayatri, he offers obeisance to Srila Prabhupada. So that is a very beautiful lesson in this. We might be chanting, we might be doing our Gayatri, but as soon as we do a spiritual master, we should leave everything and offer our obeisances. So Udayananda Prabhu gives this example. Now, so in this way, Prabhupada also gives a nice example, a nice lesson that Brahmanas' duty is to elevate others and not exploit them. They are even charged to elevate each and every person from the Shudra state to Dvija Rudra and being a Brahmana themselves by training them to practice Krishna consciousness. And Srila Prabhupada wonderfully gave by examples and gave all this training to his disciples. Hence, Brahmanas are not by birth, but by qualities or qualifications. And with the mercy of a spiritual master and the devotees, they are elevated to a Vaishnava, a wonderful Vaishnava. This devotee also was mentioning about a class given by His Holiness Mahanidhi Swami when he was talking about how when we chant, when we chant the Hare Krishna mantra, when we do Harinam Sankirtan, we progressively go through three stages. One is Deha Darshan. Second is Atma or Atma Swarupa Darshan, and the third one is Sakshat Darshan. So Mahanidhi Swami Maharaj gave the explanation to this particular three stages by putting a wonderful analogy. So he says, Deha Darshan, the first one, in the Shishtashtram prayers, we chant Cheto Darpana Marjan. Okay, so the analogy is about a mirror. So as the dust is getting clear, first when we see into the mirror, we see a hazy reflection of us. We don't see things clearly. But as we chant, as we keep chanting, as we chant, slowly and steadily, the mirror of the heart, basically the consciousness starts cleaning. It gets cleansed, and that is when, as it gets cleansed, what we get little clearer darshan of ourselves. That is the Deha darshan. We see ourselves. Now, what exactly Deha darshan means? Maharaj explains that before we started chanting, or before we are experiencing this cleansing of our consciousness, till that point we were always that, this is my body, this is my family, this is my wealth, this is my property. It was about always about my. Now, when we come to this stage, after chanting, after our consciousness is getting clearer, the haziness is getting clear, and things are getting clearer. Deha darshan means now we realize that yes, this body, this family, this wealth, or this my property, all belongs to Krishna. Nothing is mine. It is everything belongs to Krishna. That is the first stage. That is Deha darshan. The second one, as we continue chanting further, okay, and when we perfectly cleanse our hearts and our consciousness and all the impurities are removed, we get to the next stage of Atma Darshan or Atma Swarupa Darshan. Atma Darshan means this point we understand that yes, this body, I am not this body, I am the soul. And Atma Swarup Darshan, that is, this soul also belongs to Krishna. So from Atma Darshan to Atma Swarupa Darshan. This is second stage. Now, further when we chant Krishna, further when we get to the stage where we are chanting in Shuddhana, that's when we get Sakshat Darshan. What does that means is first we had a hazy darshan of ourselves, hazy view of ourselves. Second, it becomes more clearer. We get into Deha darshan. Third, second we get into Atma Swarupa darshan. And third, now when things are so clear, we also see the person who is standing behind us. That is none other than the Supreme Lord Krishna. That is when we get the Sakshat darshan of Krishna. Okay, so from Deha Darshan to Atma or Atma Swarupa Darshan, we come to the stage when we chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra in Shuddhana. That is when we get Sakshat Darshan. So a Brahmana who is Akinchana has got Deha Darshan. Okay, and hence uses everything. He understands. He also got Atma and Atma Swarupa Darshan when he chants that he knows everything belongs to Krishna and everything has to be dedicated in the service of Krishna. So he is not, so Akinchana, the definition, the meaning of Akinchana is not desiring material comforts. So Brahmana, he is not a pauper, but he has realized that everything and anything belongs to Krishna and his service. So the point here is the deciding factor is service to Krishna. Whether you have opulence, or you do not have opulence. How do you utilize it? Whether it depends on how do you utilize it, whether in the service of Krishna or for your sense gratification. So we can further extend this when we say akinchanana mai bhakti bhaja. Now we engage. It is also about engaging. The other day, it was in the house of housewarming of His Grace Prasannatma Bhagan Prabhu. When Narari Prabhu was there, Narari Prabhu spoke, and then Sri Keshav Prabhu spoke about dedicating ourselves to in our wealth and everything to the service of Krishna or to the temple. Narari Prabhu made a wonderful point of giving time. Giving time means giving ourselves to the service of Krishna. So giving our body, mind, manasa, vacha, we give ourselves to the service of Krishna or to the service of temple. Naren Prabhu made a wonderful point, and Prabhuji also, Sri Keshav Prabhu also elaborated on that. Yes, we do give. There are instructions of how we can give our money to Krishna, but the most important point is whether we give our time or body to the service of Krishna. Mai Bhakti Bhaja. So one example is Dhruva Maharaj. Dhruva Maharaj, when he went to the forest as per the instructions of his mother Suniti, till that point, what we all know, he wanted kingdom more greater. He was looking at a bigger kingdom. He wanted more opulence. But when he got Sakshat Darshan, when he got darshan of Lord Vishnu himself, he says, I was running after broken glasses, which I felt was diamond. Says, I do not want anything, but what he asked is, I want your association of your devotees. That is what he requests. So he from a stage of you might call it a stage of being a Kshatriya, he came to the stage of being a Brahman, a Kinchanana. So he said, I don't want anything, but I want just a association of devotees. Second example is Prahlad Maharaj. Prahlad Maharaj also, who was in all the association of Asuras, but he himself was only to the stage where he could maintain himself just by his devoted service and focus onto the Lord. When Lord Nrsimhadev appears, he also comes to the stage of Akinchanana, Mai Bhakti Bhaja. Okay, so he was always in the stage, and very wonderfully, there is a nice example of Prabhupada. He was sitting with his devotee, and there was probably a Mayavadi also in that particular in that group or the people who were there. He was showing a photo of his guru. This Mayavadi is showing a photo of his guru, where the photo was taken in such a way that the Mayavadi guru was somebody is offering him money, a lot of bundle of notes, and in the photo, and he's saying no to that. So he was like declining. When Prabhupada heard that, he said, he said, my devotees, please take a photo of me with a lot of stack of money, and I would embrace that money. Okay? So I will take that money. Now, Prabhupada once was counting money. Okay, there was a lot of money which he had received from many other places. Maybe we do book distribution or many other things. So on his table there was a lot of money, and in Prabhupada is counting. And at the same time, that place mayor was sitting over there. So this mayor was bewildered. So mayor was actually asking questions to Srila Prabhupada. Prabhupada was answering his questions also, but at the same time, Prabhupada kept on counting the money. He was counting the money and keeping it separately. He was stashing it separately. And I think he asked 1 or 2 questions or 3 questions. Prabhupada answered those questions, but at the same time, the mayor could not understand the whole scenario. And after Prabhupada finished counting the money, he called one by one his devotees and saying, this is for this project, this money for this project, and this money, and money was totally gone. The mayor obviously didn't understand, but this is what Srila Prabhupada was. all the Prabhupada really, gave a different meaning to this word of akinchanana. Earlier, we saw with earlier example that they had material opulences, okay, but it was not used for the service of Krishna. Here, Prabhupada was ready to accept money from Krishna through any sources, but give it back, offer it back in the service of the Lord. He utilized each and every penny for the in the service of the Lord. So this is what Srila Prabhupada was, who really exemplified the statement, Akinchanana, my bhakti. We all can amass wealth, but if that is that wealth or that opulence in any form, Janmaishwara Shuddhi Shri, any form, if that is not utilized properly in the service of the Lord, it is Shama Eva Hi Kevala. That is not Mai Bhakti Bhaja. Uh, Yeah. So yesterday, even Prasad Krishna Prabhu was also mentioning about the services, right? So that any form, whether it is Manasa, Vacha, Kaya, or for that matter, any opulence that we have, any skills we have, the ultimate use of that should be in the service of the Lord. So I'll maybe quickly summarize here. So first we saw how Indra had material opulence, but Indra mentioned how that material opulence brings asura bhava, demonic mentality, and because of that, he committed Guru Helanam. That is, he committed offense to his spiritual master, will commit offense to devotees. So that is one. Second one, Kunti Maharani also says, Tvam Akinchana Gochara. Only those who are Akinchana Gochara can approach you. Otherwise, all others who have Janma, Aishwarya, Shruti, Shri, they will become Madah Puman, or they will become proud. And on top of that, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur says that Jada Vidya can bring lot of material appeals, Mayara Vaibhava. But what happens was, all these things, if it is not utilized properly, it becomes Tomara Bhajane Badha. Okay. Therefore, a Brahmana, though he has, he can have any amount of opulence, any amount of wealth, any amount of skills, or any amount of knowledge. But knowledge obviously has an abundance. But Brahmana voluntarily would prefers him to be impoverished or in a poverty state. So the intention is not to be in a so-called in a related terms being poor, because otherwise what will happen? Any poor person would say that I am a Brahmin. The intention is not that. Intention of not being power is being in poverty is basically not to be just in poverty, literal meaning, but to serve Krishna in whatever position we are. So akinchanana is an attitude in spirit. Okay. So and then we also spoke about the three stages of chanting, where Deha Darshan, then Atma or Atma Surupa Darshan, and the third progressive state which we can achieve when we chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra in the state of Shuddhana, okay, is the Sakshat Darshan, where we get Sakshat Darshan of the Lord Himself. Okay, and then we concluded by saying how Srila Prabhupada exemplified this particular text or this particular line of Kinchanana Mai Bhakti Bhaja. Granthra Srimad Bhagavata ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Thank you so much for your kind hearing. Please correct me if I have gone wrong anywhere.
Thank you so much for Prabhuji for the wonderful class. Like and also at the end, like you have summarized everything, like with the example of Dindukari and Gokarna story. Like you have like opened our eyes with what intensity we should hear the Bhagavatam, and also like like again with the examples of like Indra and Kunti Maharaj prayers, and with the example of Indra realizing his mistake when he offended his guru. So like you mentioned that like we have to be the real Akinchana, we should not be like having the proud of having the opulences. And also like we mentioned how everybody is born as a Sudra, but at the end becomes who becomes the true Brahmana, like your sequence of Sudra, Dvija, Vipra, and then at the end, true Brahmana who realizes the essence of Vedas, which is like the absolute truth is the Lord Krishna. And with the example of Hridayananda Prabhu, like he gave like what mistake he has done, and like it is also opening eye opener for us that like whatever we do, whenever senior Vaishnavas and the Guru comes, so we have to leave everything and offer obeisances. And three stages are like while chanting, so which we go through the so Deha Darshan, and they have given nice example that I mean nice understanding that Deha Darshan means whatever we are saying it actually belongs to Krishna, not us. Earlier we used to think it is mine, like I and mine. Then you have given the example of Atma Swarup Darshan, what it means, like we are not the body, we are the spirit soul, and that also belongs to Krishna. And then Sakshat Darshan. So, like we will see the person standing behind all these things, and who is Krishna. So we get darshan of Lord Krishna, and then you like with the example of Prabhupada, how Prabhupada exemplified the word akinchana, like by engaging everything, like even everything for place in the service of Krishna, and very nice examples, Prabhuji. Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
Prabhuji, one more thing, because today is Advaita Acharya appearance day, also very auspicious. Maybe one or two words can I mention just about so that it is for my purification and glorifying Advaita Acharya. So we all are aware how great personality Advaita Acharya was. He is so Advaita Acharya is a combined incarnation of Mahavishnu and Sadashiva who resides in Goloka, and we all know the appearance of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is only because of the efforts, though only because of the compassion that Advaita Acharya had when he saw how the people in Navadip were totally engrossed in sense gratification. And that's where very intensely Advaita Acharya prayed with his by offering Ganges water to the Shaligram and Tulsi leaves. And by that, Mahaprabhu appeared on this earthly planet. And there is one particular instance where Advaita Acharya, Mahaprabhu was so pleased, and he asked Advaita Acharya that you please, I'm pleased by your prayers. Please ask what benediction, what you want. I can give you anything. And Advaita Acharya requested that, my Lord, my only request is that you distribute love of Krishna even to women laborers and ignorant fools, which is in the Chaitanya Bhagavata Madhya Lila 6.167. So, and it is also written, Narsimha Sheela and deities fashioned after a picture of Shri Shri Madan Gopal that were worshipped by Advaita Acharya are still residing in Shantipur in Madan Gopal Para. And on the banks of the Ganga, where Advaita Acharya worshipped Shaligram and called out to the Lord to please descend to this world, there is a temple being built. I think this place can be reached from Shantipur also. So that is how a glorious parampara that we are in, and such wonderful acharyas that we have. Thank you so much, Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. So, devotees, you can unmute and ask any questions. All our lines are unmuted.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dandat Pranam. Excellent lecture, and all the examples you made us, and you made me understand. Prabhu, which is that Bhaktivinoda Thakur's that song Jada Vidya Tumare, the beginning.
That is in his bhajan, Mataji, Vidyara Vilasa.
Vidya, okay.
Maybe I can put it in the chat here. It's a very wonderful bhajan, Mataji. How we can put in the chat. Yeah. I just pasted in the chat for everyone. The link is there in the chat.
Okay. Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Done.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Dandavat pranams.
Hare Krishna.
Thanks for the wonderful class, Prabhu. Prabhu, you explained in detail how the riches keep Lord Krishna away from us. But in Bhagavad Gita, chapter 6, Prabhu, Lord says unsuccessful yogi will be born into aristocratic family. So how to understand this contradiction, Prabhu?
Actually, it is not a contradiction, Mataji. That is a facility that the Lord has provided. So basically, what it means that it gets into an aristocratic family is the person does not have to worry. See, when we see, we all know that nothing we can carry when we move from this body to other body. But the only thing that goes is our devotional service. That starts from that point onwards where we left. Correct? We all understand that. So this facility is given by the Lord that when if something is left, we get into an aristocratic family where we don't have to worry about anything else. There might be, we can progress from that point onwards in bhakti. So we can properly perform bhakti nicely. That is the point where I think the Lord is mentioning that yes, you get into an aristocratic family so that you can it facilitates to you to do very wonderful devotion. You don't have to worry about no other anxieties will be there. Is what is mentioned.
Is
Yes.
like Raghunath Dasa Goswami?
Wonderful example. He left everything and ran off.
Yes.
In fact, there is also one other example of Pundarak Vidyanidhi. We all know when devotees went to meet him, see him, he was full of opulence. But as soon as he heard one bhajan, he went into ecstasy. So they were not affected by all this material opulence.
But chances of falling down are more, no, Prabhu?
That is a free will, Mataji.
Okay.
That is the free will that we have to exercise. Krishna never interferes in our free will. It is our Sukruti also should be there. Sukruti has to be there, which helps us sustain. But if that free will which we have, if that is not exercised properly, there is a chance of fall down with all those material opulence. Yes, there is a risk. But if we have intensely and sincerely served devotees and Krishna ensures that, as I said, right, "Iye tamam prapadante," Krishna will reciprocate accordingly. There are many examples of that. I mean, for example, you take, I mentioned about Ford driving Srila Prabhupada in a Ford car, which he owns. He became a shopper of Srila Prabhupada. Yeah? We all know who is Ford, right? Ambrish Prabhu.
Yes.
We know how much, almost 50, I don't know, 30, 40, 50% of money that has gone into due with 30 million or how many millions he has donated. So even though in that opulence, he's never lost touch that, all has to be dedicated to Krishna. What better example we have and still serving both of them, Prabhu and Mataji.
Yes. Thank you so much, Prabhu. Dhanyavad.
Thank you, Hare Krishna. I think we can end.
Yes, Prabhu, we can end the class here. Vancha kalpata.
कृपा सिंधुभ्यश्च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमः अनंतकोटि वैष्णववृंद की जय वैष्णव ठाकुर श्री प्रभुपाद की जय.
Thank you so much, Prabhu, for the wonderful eye-opener class. And
Thank
thank you, devotees. And tomorrow again, we'll meet at 7:15 tomorrow.